Born in Cameroon in a very poor family without option, the young man started to work in a sand mine. We can say that it is a curse to be born in that poor condition, but we can also say that it is a blessing that that young man started to work in such a young age in a sand mine, because that's the place where he developed that physical strength and power. That young man had nothing and came from nothing. He didn't even have a childhood like the normal kids, but he was determined and motivated to become someone. This is where he received his mental strength and toughness. He decided to travel to Europe with the hope to become a professional boxer. From Cameroon he traveled to Nigeria, from Nigeria to Algeria, from Algeria to Morocco. That man have mentioned it that he was trapped 1 year in Morocco, and have mentioned it that it was hell. In the future, he succeeded to enter the European continent and travel to France. This man was homeless in the city, Paris. Later in that year, he have met someone who helped him to change his destiny. His name is Fernando Lopez, the owner of MMA Factory. Fernando Lopez let him train and sleep in his gym for free. Fernando Lopez have guided that man to the mixed martial arts because he saw that he have more potential in that fighting style. He wasn't in the big league, but he won 3 times by submission. But the very moment he entered the UFC, he started to knock out his opponent with the power I believe he have developed in a sand mine.
Phone to try to get a matchup with Gane. Down goes the Reeve! Francis! Boom!
His name is Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou finally made it to the title fight against the greatest heavyweight champion in the UFC history, Stipe Miocic. That fight started, but you have noticed something very important. Francis depends too much on his power and started to slow down. His wrestling and ground game wasn't that good.
Stipe needs a quick duck in. Nice 1-2. Beautiful! He's hurt! Goodness gracious! Stipe shoots again.
He lost that fight. After that fight, Francis lost against Derek Lewis. Many speculated that Francis have lost his confidence, but to be honest, even though he lost a little bit his confidence, Francis knows the danger of facing Derek Lewis. When we talk about knockout power, they are almost equal. Derek Lewis have more knockouts than Francis Ngannou. One mistake against Derek Lewis and the fight is over.
On each other's radar.
Shoots it from a distance. He sees it, boom! On the chin, that was it. Delayed reaction, he falls down, 1.
Francis Ngannou parted way with Fernando Lopez. I don't know why, but rumors spread that they don't get along anymore. Francis gained his confidence back and started to knock out his opponent.
There for Biggie Boy. Oh! Oh! It's over. Rosen's strike is out! Whoa! And Gane!
He even managed to avenge his loss.
And leave these big openings.
Oh! Knocked out! Nice counter right from
And is the current UFC champion. In his last 2 fights, we have noticed something very important. The Predator have evolved. He is more calculated and patient.
DC in Cleveland.
You
This
can
is
tell.
25.
Oh! Oh!
Stipe took that though.
His takedown defense.
Early shot from Stipe.
This is big. This is a big
Oh,
one.
this is actually improved takedown defense by Gane.
His wrestling and ground game have improved.
The training.
Yeah.
That's what Francis said.
Francis Ngannou is more dangerous than ever. In the year 2011, a young man have received the opportunity to face the champion, Mauricio Shogun Rua. Not only did he start the fight with a flying knee,
In theaters and IMAX, Friday.
he have picked the champion apart and have claimed the belt for himself.
To the body. And it is.
That man's name was Jon Jones. He is the youngest UFC champion. During his reign as the champion, he managed to submit Quinton Rampage Jackson.
Jon Jones has.
He submit Lyoto Machida.
It is all over.
He defeated Rashad Evans. He submitted TRT Vitor Belfort.
Now he's going for a Kimura.
It is all over.
And defeated Glover Teixeira. Those fighters were all former champions. He defeated Alexander Gustafsson, but the fight was so close. Many speculated that Alexander won, but during the rematch, Jon Jones have finished him in round 3.
Scramble out of here. Oh, big shot by Jon Jones. Gustafsson's in trouble.
After his hard fight against Dominic Reyes, Jon Jones have relinquished his belt to move up in the heavyweight division, and I've recently mentioned it that he only have 3 fights left. Jon Jones is an American MMA fighter with a record of 26 wins and 1 loss. He was beating Matt Hamill, but because of an illegal elbow, he have been disqualified. Jon Jones is a complete fighter and does well in every situation. Closing the distance against Jon Jones is very difficult because he is a master at fighting at distance.
Fought Rumble twice and Gustafsson since their fight. 5 hard rounds with Gustafsson, and we saw how fantastic Gustafsson was.
When his opponent tries to close the distance, he stretches forward and moves away. It's very difficult to touch him like that.
Head kick by Belfort. Throws with the hands. I'm curious to see.
When his opponent managed to enter his personal zone, he engaged a clinch fight to control his opponent. He neutralized the striking.
DC is seeing everything is what I'm.
He caught it.
Big punches landed by DC. And he's hanging on the head.
He pushed his opponent away.
Extending knees.
He threw takedowns. Or attack during the clinch. Not only is Jon Jones a very good wrestler,
Athletic, young. Suplex.
he is very good on the ground and is able to keep his opponent on the floor, and his ground and pound is vicious. Jon Jones is a complete striker, and his signature move are the oblique kick and brutal elbows.
Played by Jones. Especially the Greco-Roman skills like. Oh!
The heavyweight division is now in a very problematic situation because they are talking to do Stipe Miocic versus Jon Jones, but the reality is the UFC wants to do Francis Ngannou versus Jon Jones. Breaking news: the champion Francis Ngannou have relinquished his belt and have parted ways with the UFC. Dana White, the UFC, didn't manage to find an agreement with the Cameroonian MMA fighter. Now Jon Jones will face Ciryl Gane, who recently defeated Tai Tuivasa.
Attacking that body.
Ciryl Gane is a French MMA fighter with 1 defeat and 11 victories. I say it and I say it again. Ciryl Gane is a problem in the heavyweight division. Ciryl Gane is very light on his feet and bounces forward and backwards. There are moments he even changes stance.
That's what it is.
I feel a bit sick hearing that.
Wow. What a treat we have.
He's right in his face.
And for Ciryl Gane, plan A.
The French MMA fighter fights with a low guard, but when his opponents attack him, he stretches his forearms to create distance and move backwards or circle away, what makes it difficult to hit him clean.
But he's turning his back on a sniper.
Yeah, he's got to be careful.
How is he taking these shots?
Yeah, seems unaffected.
It is not his strongest point, but we have seen Ciryl Gane doing good stuff in the wrestling and ground area.
Upbringing, his mother passed when he was 12 and his father was
takedown.
in and out of jail. Oh, he's going
Why
for it.
not?
He's looking for the heel hook.
Oh, and he gets the tap! Wow!
But I still believe that wrestling is his weakness. When we talk about striking, it is a different story. There is a possibility that in a striking area, Ciryl Gane may be the best in the heavyweight division. We have seen Ciryl Gane throwing hard and beautiful combinations.
Waned a little bit for him.
Oh, that uppercut.
Nice jab and a follow-up right hand for Gane.
But most of the time, and it's part of Ciryl Gane's strategy, is that he stay at distance and pick his opponent apart with different and powerful kicks and jabs.
He was turning his back a lot in his Contender Series fights as well.
Oh! Did you hear that? Yeah. Sorry, of course you.
Great punch by Ciryl.
Ciryl Gane is a Muay Thai fighter, so throwing elbows and knees is part of his fighting style.
Look at this flurry at the end of the round, a stepping elbow from Ciryl Gane, and then he realizes his Duntail's hurt. He starts to pour the pressure on. Right hand comes over the top, flying knee lands flush to the chin, and then the hammer fist follow. How?
Here we see, look at that, pops that jab and really stung Junior with that. And there's the elbow that hurt him. Ducks under that punch. And this is the one that Junior was complaining about. He felt like that was on the back of his head. And it looks like it was.
Jon Jones versus Ciryl Gane. They both are masters at fighting at distance. They both are very technical strikers. They both have a big arsenal. But I believe that Ciryl Gane may be a little bit better in the striking area because he simply have more experience in that domain. He is also good at fighting calculated and scoring a lot of points. But it's the same story for Jon Jones. Mixed martial arts is the combination of striking and wrestling. If we talk about MMA, I believe that Jon Jones is the better MMA fighter. Jon Jones is a good striker and fights very good at distance, but he is also very good at fighting at close range. We will not forget that Jon Jones is very good at wrestling and fighting on the ground. Jon Jones is a superior wrestler and better on the ground. If he wants to win, he must combine his striking and wrestling, and if it's possible, keep his opponent on the floor because he is the more complete MMA fighter. Ciryl can fight at close range and can be very effective because of his Muay Thai background, but he will avoid to fight at close range if he knows that his opponent is very good in the wrestling domain. Most of the time he avoids to fight at close range because he feels more comfortable in a stand-up fight. This is an advantage for Jon Jones. If the fight stays stand-up, it will be in favor of Ciryl Gane, but his wrestling must be better, and if it's possible, have a good takedown defense and avoid wrestling. Jon Jones is now in a new weight class. He is now heavier and have more muscle, but I wonder, will he be comfortable in a new weight class? If not, he may suffer his first defeat. But if he feels comfortable, it will be a hard fight and he will have an advantage because he is more dangerous and more complete than his opponent. May the best fighter win. I want to know your opinion. Please leave a comment below in the comment section. Visit my YouTube channel and you will find Leon Edwards vs Kamaru Usman 3 and more other fights. Don't forget to like and follow. Thank you for watching and see you next time.